In how many member states are we currently present?
In 12 member states, in 138 locations in these 12 countries.
And why do we support certain countries and certain not?
Countries reach out to us with a request. They have been constantly and persistently confronted with migration flows.
What is the EUAA doing in that sense?
EUAA works with the member states in the member states. We managed to relocate 6,600 people. We had 1,000 arrivals in just 24 hours. Next time, we are better, we are more efficient. Migration is a dynamic phenomenon, but the work doesn't stop here.
Welcome to the second episode of the EUAA Vodcast, brought to you by the European Union Agency for Asylum. The EU Agency for Asylum has the role to support the EU member states in harmonizing their asylum and reception systems in order to do a better work altogether in the field of asylum in the European Union. How we do that? Actually, in a lot of different ways. We train asylum and reception officials. We produce a lot of documents, research documents, analytics, the asylum report that we presented to you in the first episode. And last but not the least, a lot of our efforts go into actual support on the ground and our operations. And this leads us to the topic that we'll be addressing today, our operational support to EU member states. And for that, we have a very special guest today, Georgios Raskos, who is the head of our Operations Center at the EUAA. Georgios, welcome to our second episode of the podcast. We are very happy to have you, and we are really excited to discover more about EUAA operations.
Thank you, Nina. Thank you for hosting me here today and giving me the opportunity to demystify operations. Hopefully the audience of this podcast will find this as an interesting piece to look at and listen.
When you mentioned that we are present in member states, in how many member states are we currently present?
Currently, we are present in 12 member states. Lithuania and Ireland are the two newest additions to this operational landscape. We signed our operational plans with these two countries back in September, and 16th of October, our first extras were deployed in Lithuania and in Ireland. In total, we are present in 138 locations in these 12 countries with a little less than 1,100 experts.
That's very impressive. Is this the maximum number of countries we supported so far, or we had even more in the past?
I think that quite few years ago we reached up to 14 countries being supported at that time by the agency, and this maybe your question gives me also the opportunity to explain a little bit the fluctuation in the number of countries that we are supporting.
Yes, why does it go up and down? How does it work, and why do we support certain countries and certain not?
First of all, we are demand-driven. Countries reach out to us with a request. Normally, this is happening when they are facing some pressure in their asylum and reception systems, maybe because of a sudden increase or a persistent increase of arrivals, or when they're in a need of reforming their systems in line with the EU standards. So as soon as this request comes in, then we will trigger a mechanism of assessing the request, of looking at what is needed at the member state, how we are able to support the member state so our intervention has an impact, the impact that is required, and the outcome that is required by the country. So through this process, we define our intervention and we reach an agreement. So migration is a dynamic phenomenon. Not all countries are affected at the same time by the same intensity. So this fluctuation and the dynamics of the phenomenon to some extent reflect to the number of countries seeking support from the agency.
And that would also then mean that our support is different in every country, that the duration is different, and that in a way it is not a permanent support in the operational sense of the word, because indeed we provide permanent support via trainings, asylum knowledge, etc. How do you decide on which exact support you're going to give? How long it's going to last? Is it easy to agree on that?
It's a process, I will say, just to reply to your last question. There are no two identical operational plans. Every operational plan is tailored to the needs of the country at that specific moment. Even within the same country, we have an evolution of the operational plans. We take stock of what we achieve, we understand the changing landscape, and we adapt. This is exactly what we are trying to do. Compared to the permanent support that other functions of the agency are providing, our operational and technical support is tailored to the individual needs of the member state. And this is the process that we're going through, the needs assessment. Together with the countries, we are assessing the needs. If these needs are around the core specialization that the agency can provide, or are there some secondary activities, administrative support, ICT support that is needed for a system to be functioning. We tend to prioritize the core activities, the activities around asylum processing and around reception. And at the end of the process, we reach an agreement with the countries on how this should be delivered, what is the duration, what are the objectives that we are going to pursue, what are the indicators that we're going to measure our success and whether we are reaching the objectives that we have set.
And talking of their life on the ground, what would be the typical day of a caseworker in a reception center?
Yeah, normally our caseworkers are in dedicated locations where the asylum processing takes place. They are, first of all, their work is planned. They know how many interviews and whom they're going to meet that day. They have access to his or her case file. They will review the case file. They will seek also the advice of country of origin information, material that our Asylum Knowledge Center is producing to be fully informed about the situation in the country where the applicant is coming from. And then it's going to be the moment of the interview where they will have the opportunity to interact physically or maybe sometimes through online video conferencing with the asylum applicant. Usually this happens in the presence of an interpreter. Interpreters are an essential component of how we deliver our work on the field because they are the ones who are explaining to the applicant fully in the language that he or she recognizes, and at the same time they bring back his reply, the message to the caseworker, so it is fully understood.
No, that's very impressive, and I can only imagine the stories they are meeting every day and all the amazing people they are meeting, and it is really very rewarding to know that we are also helping on a very human level the asylum seekers coming to the European Union. For example, some countries have been receiving our support for a very, very long time, like Italy and Greece. Do you want maybe to tell us a bit more about the concrete support we gave to these big countries in terms of applications and how that evolved a bit through time?
Both countries that you mentioned, Italy and Greece, are strong partners of the agency. Looking at migration management in the EU, they have been figuring for quite some time as having a very prominent role. This is very logical, and it is clear if you look at their geographical position in the Mediterranean Sea, and also the fact that they have been constantly and persistently confronted with migration flows to the EU. Our partnership started, I will say, with Greece back in 2011. Then we started supporting Italy, and we have a multi-dimensional and multifaceted collaboration and support activities in these two countries, that ranging from frontline support to structural support. In Italy, we are present there and we are assisting at the moment with registration of arrivals. We are supporting reception and allocation processes. We do information provision, and very recently we are present in the territorial commissions in these groups in the different regions of Italy where asylum processing is taking place.
So you visited Lampedusa not so long ago. What was the situation there, and how did you find it?
Yeah, I have been visiting Lampedusa back in July to have a first-hand understanding of the work that is happening there. What has been impressive was to see that in the 24 hours that have been present in the location, that not only for Italy, but for Europe as a whole, has a very important role in migration management. We had 1,000 arrivals in the island in just 24 hours. This number is a very good indication of the system that needs to be in place, the expertise that needs to be in place to process those arriving and disembarking in the island of Lampedusa.
It seems that 2025 was really a very active year and that you had a lot on your plate. What are for you some main highlights? How was 2025 so far?
Yeah, so far, 2025 has been a very rewarding year. It has been busy and challenging, but at the same time, it has been productive and fulfilling. Maybe I'll use two numbers that from the daily reporting that I receive. I consider them very important also for our target audience to get an understanding of the work. This year, the experts that we deploy in just 5 countries, they have been engaged in 35,000 registrations. Mm-hmm. They have registered the claims of applicants for international protection the first months of the year. If EUAA was a country, this number will mean that we rank 5th among the EU member states. In terms of workforce, we will have been 7th among the EU member states. So I consider both of these numbers impressive and also indicative both of the quality and the volume of the work that is being done. Now, looking some other activities, important for me is the work that was done so far on relocation.
Let's explain what is relocation to our audience immediately so that they know.
The relocation is a solidarity mechanism. Mm-hmm. So far, it has been a voluntary process. Mm-hmm. It has been a political commitment that dates back in 2022 that 13 EU member states decided to support the 5 Mediterranean countries that were confronted with increased arrivals. Based on this declaration of intent for solidarity support to transfer arrivals in the 5 Mediterranean countries to the 13 pledging, contributing countries, we have been working in these countries to identify the persons to be relocated and matching them with the needs of the 13 receiving countries. Since then, we managed to relocate 6,600 people from the 5 Mediterranean countries to the northern, western and eastern part of Europe. In Cyprus only, we had more than 3,000 applicants or beneficiaries of international protection relocated, the highest number among the 5 Mediterranean countries. And this, for me, it's an important achievement. It's an important achievement considering that as of next year, and with the Pact for Asylum and Migration, solidarity is one of the 2 components, important components of the pact. The other one is responsibility and will become a permanent function of the asylum management system in the EU. Contingency is our capacity to prepare, respond, and recover from a situation that one or few member states are confronted with an increased number of arrivals or with a migration crisis.
Talking about being better, looking at into the future, what can we do better and where do you see EU operations evolving in the near future?
From our side, we see that the pact implementation is going to be an important component of our work. We have a few months left before the pact enters into force, and our activities together with the other centers of the agency is towards assisting member states in preparing for the implementation of the pact. After June 2026, our operational teams are going to be directly engaging in implementing the pact. Looking also the challenging, volatile and dynamic geopolitical landscape around Europe, we need to ensure also agility by design, that our systems, what we have in place, is ready and allows for us to respond whenever a member state seeks our support or whenever something is happening in the periphery of the EU. And last but not least, I will say that situational awareness, our capacity to anticipate and prepare for what is there for the agency's role is an important component. Now, more widely, looking at our work, we see the impact of digitalization. This can be a catalyst on how we internally coordinate and prepare for our activities, but also externally in the member states, how these activities are being carried out. Artificial intelligence is changing the way we operate as humans. It's only natural that it will change also the way that we operate as professionals.
We mentioned the very close cooperation and assistance to EU member states in our work, but we also work with a lot of different partners, other EU agencies, NGOs, UN agencies. How does that work in practice and in the field?
Yeah. Often we also collaborate with other EU agencies that have a relevant mandate, but also other partners like international organizations, UNHCR, IOM, or also the civil society organizations. UNHCR, it's also a strong partner because it has a relevant mandate. Last but not least, because the role is important and will be even more important in the future, the partnership with Frontex needs to be highlighted. We mentioned previously Lampedusa. We tested a new process on how screening is going to be taking place in the future under the pact.
You mentioned a lot of experts and a lot of staff working for EUAA Operations. For those outside who might be interested to consider this career and apply, what would you recommend to them? How can we inspire them to apply?
We are always in a constant need for new talent. Our human capital is our strongest asset. Exactly. So this is an open call also to all the young or not so young professionals out there in the migration management landscape to visit our website, to look at the different profiles and the job requirements that we have there and consider applying. As an EU agency, we offer a multicultural and a multilingual environment, and we encourage our colleagues to learn. We encourage professional growth and also a contribution to the EU values, because this is why we are here.
We covered really a lot of topics today, a lot of very interesting information and updates. And now I kept the most difficult questions for the end. If you had to sum up the vision of EUAA Operations in one sentence, what would it be?
That's indeed the most difficult question in our discussion. And maybe for two reasons, because I'm Greek and it's very difficult for me to reply in just one sentence. But more importantly, because that reply should combine our corporate vision with the needs and expectations of the member states, the policy environment where we are operating, but also the challenging and volatile geopolitical landscape. To give you an answer, I will say that EUAA operations in the future need to be agile, to adapt to member states' individual needs, need to be impactful to address promptly what is expected, and also need to be sustainable to ensure the overall resilience and functioning of the EU migration management system. This cannot happen without our people, our workforce, the capable workforce, and without a close collaboration with member states.
Das Bundesamt für Migration und Flüchtlinge steht nach wie vor großen Herausforderungen. Wir haben in den vergangenen Jahren sehr viele Asylantragsteller gehabt. Diese Verfahren sind jetzt noch in Bearbeitung. Die Unterstützung von EUAA hilft uns gut auf GEAS vorzubereiten, damit wir diese Umstellung im Verfahren im nächsten Jahr sehr gut hinbekommen.
My name is Andreas Georgios. I am the head of the Asylum Service of Cyprus for the past 2 years. EUAA has been offering operational support to Cyprus since 2014. In the struggle to manage migration pressures, we believe that we couldn't have done it without the support of EUAA.
Thank you very much. I think that sums it well, all the discussions we had today, and is really closing this amazing opportunity we had to go behind the scenes and see what EU operations mean, how they look like, and all the very important and valuable work our colleagues in operations are doing every day to support the EUA asylum landscape. Georgios, thank you very much for joining us today. It was really an honor to have you with us, and we hope to see you again in one of our next episodes.
Thank you very much for hosting and giving the opportunity for that reflection. Thank you.